Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ricky with TechBud Solutions. Wanted to go live very quickly and talk about what we have in store for this week. We have a series of different companies that are going to be reporting earnings, and just thought it would be useful to kind of come together and talk about what kind of is the big focus for this week. And that's mainly retail. So big tech, most of big tech has already reported earnings, but we do have companies like Target, companies like Lowe's, companies like Macy's, TJ Maxx. There are some software companies like Snowflake and Zoom, or technology companies that are reporting earnings this week. But mainly, again, when you kind of see kind of the constant theme, it is a lot of La-Z-Boy, Urban Outfitters, Ross, kind of more retail on the retail side of things. So not super exciting when it comes down to what's going to be reporting this week, but still, again, great opportunity, right? We have Lowe's that's going to be reporting before the market opens, Toll Brothers, Target, and this is Target's on Wednesday before the market opens. Then we have Snowflake and Zoom after the market closes on Wednesday. Let's go ahead and break down some of the top stocks that some of you guys see value in. If you guys would like me to break down whatever stock it is that's reporting earnings this week or not, feel free to share it in that live chat and would be more than happy to break it down. I wanted to start off with Target because Target was kind of going through a trading rut based off of an aggressive sell-off that it experienced, right? So Target hit lows of 100. It then began to recover in 2024, early 2024. It peaked at highs of 177, and it's been selling off ever since. We did hit lows of 132. We're possibly in the early stages of a reversal. And then again, we have this week, Wednesday, before the market opens, we have Target that's going to be reporting earnings. So as of right now, if I were to ask you guys when looking at this on either the 4-hour time frame or either the day chart, right? What would you say about Target? Is Target a bullish or bearish stock based off of recent patterns? From the highs of 180, what is this showing signs of? Is this showing signs of progress on the upside? Is this showing signs of a consistent descending pattern? That's just important to pay attention to, right? I would say that this has been a little bit more on the bearish side, right? For 2024, the greater part of 2024, it looks like it peaked right around March, and it's been selling off ever since then with lower highs and lower lows. It does try to recover. It makes a lower high and then sell off. It does try to recover. It creates a lower high and then sell off. It comes and tries to recover. It retests and normally sells off. So again, there's not a lot of, based off of its track record for the greater part of 2024, it hasn't been extremely bullish, but again, this can all change on a dime based off of what it actually reports when it comes down to earnings. We'll see how retail, I think that's going to be a big focus for this week. I don't know if you guys remember kind of the theme that big tech had this past like 2 weeks ago when they were all reporting earnings, and the constant theme was that they were sharing lower than expected guidance for what's to come. Do you guys remember that? Like Google and Microsoft and Amazon, all of them pretty much had really great earnings, but their guidance was just a little bit lower. Their expectation for the end of 2024 and early 2025 was just not as high as Wall Street expected. We'll see. We'll see for retail now if that's the same theme. Do we expect for the end of 2024 for consumers not to be spending as much? Do we expect a slowdown, or do we expect quite the opposite, that consumers are spending more and that we expect them to spend even more towards the later half of 2024 or the earlier part of 2025? So I think it's going to be important just to pay attention to when it comes down to the theme in the sense of, what is the sentiment behind retail? Is retail bullish or is retail bearish? And that's going to be the main focus that I have for this week is, can I get an understanding of the sentiment for overall retail? So people are piling into Fubo tomorrow morning. They won't against Disney. Okay, we can check it out. So let's go ahead and check out Fubo. So I'm only going to break down 5 different stocks today. So this is going to be the second one. If you guys would like me to break down your top stock, all I literally ask you to do is to subscribe to the channel and share it in the live chat. If you're not subscribed to the channel, it probably will not let you share anything in that live chat. So just a quick little heads up, okay? So Fubo, if you want to jump into this, that's, if it's based off of news, it says people are piling into Fubo tomorrow morning. They won a preliminary injunction against Disney, Fox, Warner Brothers, and Discovery. Yeah, okay. Maybe something to pay attention to. So it could be a possible overreaction. I know overall Fubo has not been performing well. I mean, I think the price per share speaks for itself. It's been trading at $1 per share, possibly based off of if what you are saying is true and market sentiment is bullish for Fubo based off of that injunction, then yeah, we could see a really green day for Fubo. So maybe it's something that we can begin to pay attention during that pre-market session. So I appreciate you, John, sharing or at least making us aware. I think that, we'll just have to follow up with it during tomorrow's live trading session. Hopefully we see you there, John, and we can pay a little bit of attention to Fubo and to see if that market sentiment is bullish and if we're seeing progress on the upside. I think that would be great to be paying attention to. Yeah, it's because of a lawsuit. Makes sense. Yeah. All right. So SoFi is one that someone is asking for me to break down. SoFi is not reporting this week, are they? That's fine though. I can go ahead and I'll break it down. So SoFi is the stock you want me to break down. Let's go ahead and break that one down. So SOFI, pretty much trading sideways, wouldn't you say? For most of 2024, kind of trading sideways, a slight descending pattern. This doesn't look like an extremely safe stock to me, right? So if you're a beginner and you're like, okay, well, how do you decide if I want to buy into this or not? Very, very simple, right? If the overall direction of a stock is bullish, it doesn't look like this. It looks more like this, right? This is QQQ. This is the NASDAQ ETF. It's easier. It's still not easy, but it's easier to make money when direction is in your favor. You could see the higher highs and the higher lows, right? Overall, this stock is incredibly bullish. So therefore, it is easier to make money because direction is in favor of the bulls. When it comes down to SoFi, not so much, right? It's a little bit more of a slight descending pattern. I'm just making you aware of it. So a slight descending pattern, lower highs, lower lows, but it looks like it has these quick rip ups, but you have to be very specific with your entries and your exits, and you have to be excellent at taking profits and even better at cutting losses if direction ends up going against you. I'm not the biggest fan of SoFi. Now, again, if it has something that it's about to report that could send it skyrocketing, then that's a reason for a catalyst and maybe something to pay attention to. But you guys let me know in the live chat if you agree or disagree. SoFi just doesn't seem like a safe play. When we look at the overall direction, it's been incredibly bearish. It's been lacking progress on the upside, and it's been trading below the moving average. Again, direction is against you. It's not impossible to make money on this, but when I see that every time that it rips up, it sells off, it rips up, it sells off, it rips up, it sells off, and its overall true direction is more bearish than it is bullish, then again, I don't see there to be a lot of hope that this thing is going to hold at these levels, especially based off of recent directions. So instead of hoping for something to happen, we could set alerts and then actually wait for signs of progress. So in my opinion, this is more at an overbought side and more at a resistance than it is at a cheap price per share, and something that I would definitely not consider buying as of right now. All right, let's go ahead and go to Kava. Yep, Kava does report earnings on Thursday after the market closes. So let's go ahead, and I'm going to do 2 more stocks after this. So again, if you want me to break down your stock, subscribe to the channel, drop a thumbs up, and then share it in that live chat. I do apologize. I'm a little sniffly right now. I just sneezed. So Kava is at all-time high. So the thing that I could really appreciate about Kava is that it's incredibly bullish, right? It went from $29 per share, and this is a great example of what a stock looks like when direction is in your favor. By direction being so bullish, you don't have to be very specific with a good entry, because direction is in your favor. You could buy at, an irregular price, but as long as direction is in your favor, as long as you could tolerate the time that it takes for that stock to recover, then again, it's showing signs of higher highs and higher lows. Now, don't get me wrong. When something is overbought, how do I say this? This is getting a little bit more into it. When something is this overbought within a very short period of time, it does kind of get me to ask that question of, okay, well, when is it going to peak, right? Because if anything is shared during this week's earnings after the market closes that does not align with this sentiment of how bullish it's been, it could quickly gap down. And you guys can see that, again, it's set to report earnings on the 22nd of August. So based off of its performance, obviously it's been performing exceptionally well. I just think that it's too overbought for me to want to consider to buy now when the downside risk is just too great. With these, it's kind of like I almost have to accept that I've missed out. If you want to be extremely risky and you want to buy nearly at all-time highs and you want to take the risk because you are certain that it's so bullish, it's going to exceed earnings and it's going to surpass $100 per share, which is a possibility, right? It could do that. But for me, the risk is too high. The risk does not outweigh the reward. And because of that, I wouldn't put myself in that position. A lot of you guys know that I'm not here to tell you what to do, right? So you might see value in different ways. You might want to be more aggressive. And I'm here to encourage you to do what you think is best. But I'm also here to share my opinion. And I just think that it's too overbought for a very specific and critical time, which is it's about to report earnings. Because if anything just doesn't match with where it's currently at, with its sentiment, it shouldn't be a surprise that it could correct itself. But I do want to add this one to my watch list just to make sure that I follow up with it, because it is extremely interesting, right? It's extremely bullish. It's at all-time highs and it's about to report earnings, which could send it about above 100 for the first time. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be the first time, right? Yeah. So it's a really exciting time for Kava. I think it's a great stock to maybe pay attention to. I just think it's not worth the risk because of how overbought it is. You guys let me know what you think down in the comment section. All right. Of course, Joe. Appreciate you asking. So AMD buy at 150, sell at 154. Let's see that. Okay. So AMD is still kind of showing signs of these lower highs, lower lows. At the 150, I think that would still be a little bit early to tell, especially based off previous patterns. I don't know how you're getting the 150 and 154. Maybe it's just me, but I see more of a common resistance range around 150. I don't see anything around 154. Is this the previous resistance that you're talking about? The old support, new resistance where it got rejected? Sure, if that's what you want to do, right? So it's above EMA, it's above the moving average. It just gapped up very quickly, and you would really have to hope that market sentiment continues to go up. I just don't know why your goal or your target would only be from 150 to 154. If the whole point is that it's bullish, I would look for a bigger move, especially with something like this. But when we look at the 4-hour time frame, we kind of get a different perspective, right? We get these lower highs, lower lows, still trading below the moving average. We get that it's a little bit more on the overbought side, some pullback potential. I think AMD is a stock worth watching because I do believe that it's incredibly bullish. I just think it's a little bit on the overbought side, so maybe due for a little bit of a pullback for it to continue to uptrend. My price target would definitely not be 150 to 154 though. I would rather go with the flow. And do you kind of see how it's respecting on the 1-hour time frame the EMA? So as it pulls on back, it validates the EMA and then continues to rally. I mean, even from there, from the 138 to the 149, at least that is like, a $10 margin. To me, those are healthier margins. The risk to reward would possibly make more sense. I'm working with the EMA. It would be easier to cut losses if there's a break of pattern, and I'd easily be able to plug that into my risk to reward ratio calculator. Versus the 150 to 154 just is a little bit too tight for me to try to justify, where right now we have a really good flow of this thing trading off of the EMA. So I would wait more for a pullback break around 145, 144, wait for a pullback, see if it validates support. If it does begin to recover, go for an entry and see where we are able to exit from there. So let me know what you think about that. All right. Let's see you live tomorrow. Yeah, let's see it. So would love to have you guys there. I'm going to break down one more stock, and Then I'm going to start prepping for the live stream tomorrow. If you ever want to tune on into our live trading session, that's the second link in the description down below. You can sign up today and watch me trade live as soon as tomorrow. So would love for you guys to tune on in, and depending if the market goes up, we could potentially go long on something. If I see a reversal forming, I could potentially go short on something. So excited to follow up for sure. Let's try something new. ANET. All right, let's try it. All right, so I could tell that it has pretty low volume. Yeah, very low volume. So right off the bat, I wouldn't trade it because of that volume. But we don't need to see eye to eye with everything. I at least respect that you are choosing to focus on stocks that are bullish. You're at least putting yourself in a more favorable position to succeed, right? Direction is in your favor. It's showing signs of higher highs and higher lows. I just think it's too overbought. So based off of this recent rip up, that's great, but it looks like it's struggling to make new highs. Because of that, the profit potential versus the risk potential, if I were to plug that into my risk to reward ratio calculator, I know that would not align with my golden ratio. I can't speak for you though, right? So I would need this thing to pull on back, maybe become a little bit more oversold, try to do a dip by opportunity as long as it's still bullish and holding above the moving average on the day chart. Then again, the pattern is still valid, right? So then I could buy into the lows and then sell into the highs versus buy at the highs and hope that it goes higher. Do you get what I mean? So I just need that risk to reward to make sense, and I would not be able to make sense of it right now at these overbought levels, especially just looking at how low the volume is. I know that this thing can quickly drop, and it looks like it's done it in the past before. So NVDA tomorrow. NVDA up this week. NVDA had an amazing 2 weeks almost. So NVIDIA, we'll wrap it up with that. I know this is a stock that everyone's paying attention to. NVIDIA has had its best trading week last week of all of 2024, and that's because of its recovery, right? I think it gained 17% in 5 trading days, an amazing return. But now, is that so much that it's going to correct itself a little bit? We'll see. I'm not here to pretend like, oh, look at my crystal ball, I could tell the future. No. You guys know, especially if you tune on into my live trading sessions, I take it day by day. Do I think NVIDIA is cheap? No. Do I think NVIDIA has it that it could build enough momentum to continue to rally? Of course. NVIDIA is a juggernaut when it comes down to the momentum that it builds, and when it gets going, it's like unstoppable. So I've experienced enough of it where I don't want to bet against NVIDIA if direction is still bullish, but it's overbought enough that it could begin to pull back. And I would obviously, if I see that reversal forming, I will strike, and I would love to short it during our live trading sessions. So excited to follow up. We'll see if we can hold above 125 per share, or if we get rejected and then begin to retrace back to 120, 115. Nonetheless, very excited to see how the week ends up going, right? So we have a handful of different companies are going to be reporting earnings. Again, just make sure that you are aware so you're not surprised if you're invested in any of these. I'm not here to encourage you to obviously make any changes. I'm just here to make you aware so you're not surprised if any of these companies do end up reporting earnings and it wasn't something that you were, expecting or prepared for. So very excited to follow up. I hope to see you during tomorrow's live trading session. And again, you get to see all of my good trades, all of my bad trades, and you get to hear my thought process behind every trade I take. So whenever it is that you're ready to tune on in, that's going to be that second link in the description down below. I appreciate your time. I hope that earned your thumbs up. Please consider subscribing. And if you have any questions before signing up, feel free to comment down below, and would love to answer any questions for you. So appreciate your time like always. Let's make sure that we end the year on a green note. Take care, team.